Just a quick update. I was blocked from conducting a congressional oversight visit at Moshannon Immigration Detention Facility out here in rural Pennsylvania this morning.
Once again, another member of Congress has been denied access into a Homeland Security detention center. This time, U.S. Representative Mary Scanlon of Pennsylvania.
Now, there's a federal law that says members of Congress can do unannounced oversight visits.
And once again, another member of Congress shows up to a detention facility unannounced, gets turned away, and tells everybody they were denied. So of course we're going to dig into this story because we keep seeing the same pattern over and over and over again, not giving a prior notice. Now, before we start the video, make sure to please like the video. It's the #1 way you guys are helping this channel, but it also helps others see the videos as well. I also have a brand new newsletter. You can sign up for that by going to the link in my description or pinned comment or use the QR code. It's absolutely free and I give you guys daily updates on stories just like this.
Good morning. I'm on my way to do an oversight visit at the Moshannon Processing Center. It's the largest immigration detention center in the Northeast. And when people from my district or in our region are picked up by ICE, it's where they're often sent.
Okay, for some reason, the member of Congress did not notify Homeland Security, but she notified all of her followers she's about to do an oversight visit. In fact, Homeland Security even said she didn't follow the proper protocols. This was nothing more than a political stunt to get media clicks and 15 minutes of fame. That is straight from Homeland Security. And by the way, just to show you guys, less than 24 hours ago, I already made a video on this topic with another lawmaker who did this exact same thing. Not give a prior notice. And then when you scroll down, 7 days ago, the exact same thing. Scroll down a little bit more, 13 days ago, the exact same thing. Homeland Security has said you have to give a prior notice because so many lawmakers have been trying to show up and create a political stunt out of this entire event of oversight.
Now, there's a federal law that says members of Congress can do unannounced oversight visits at detention centers for a couple reasons. First off, processing centers like this receive over $3.5 million per month in taxpayer dollars. So it's important that we ensure that taxpayer dollars are being spent wisely.
Every single video I have made on this topic, every single lawmaker says the exact same thing. They are right. They are allowed to do oversight, but they always skip the next section. If they are bringing someone like staff or if media is coming with them, they always had to give a 24-hour notice. But because this entire oversight policy has been taken advantage of, now they have to give a prior notice because there's been so many instances of assault and protesters and chaos. In fact, this is straight from Homeland Security responding to this case, as ICE law enforcement have seen a surge in assaults, disruptions, and obstructions to enforcement, including by members of Congress themselves. Any request to tour processing centers and field offices must be approved by the Secretary of Homeland Security. So again, we have covered this on my channel. There have literally been members of Congress who have brought protesters with them or media, and it's turned into obstruction or assault charges against those lawmakers. So if anything, Homeland Security is actually trying to protect the lawmakers as well.
I arrived at the gate just after 8 o'clock when the facility opened, but was made to wait while they got officials. The private prison director and the ICE manager for the facility came out and told me they knew there was a federal law requiring them to let me in, but that DHS Secretary Kristi Noem had ordered them not to allow members of Congress to visit these facilities. I gave them a letter outlining the reasons why I need to conduct oversight, including the taxpayer dollars that are being spent there and the complaints we've received of mistreatment of detainees, including some of my constituents. So obviously this is not the end of this story, but we'll provide you with more details later.
I have no way of knowing if this member of Congress is aware of the new policies. I have to assume she is aware because this has been happening every single week now for the past 2 months, where a member of Congress shows shows up and says, hey, look, I have the law right here, you have to let me in, and then the member of Congress gets told, no, we have this new policy where you can't just show up. So at the end of the day, everyone's time was wasted, and the member of Congress doesn't even do the oversight in which our taxes pay for. We want oversight, but every single time this happens, nothing gets done. Now, 2 weeks ago, a member of Congress decided to contact all the media members in the area and not contact Homeland Security, and said, hey, just so you guys know, I'm about to do this oversight visit and it's going to be unannounced. Make sure you guys are aware of it. So this is why Homeland Security and a lot of viewers of all of this, we are waving our red flag. Are these legitimate oversight visits, or are we seeing more and more things like this to get media attention? Because of course the media is going to cover this. This is an amazing headline. A member of Congress has been denied access for oversight. This is why I make the videos I do, to get the full context and to make sure our members of Congress and lawmakers are held accountable. And by the way, make sure to please subscribe to my channel, because that's what we do here.
Now, there's a federal law that says members of Congress can do unannounced oversight visits at detention centers for a couple reasons. First off, processing centers like this receive over $3.5 million per month in taxpayer dollars. So it's important that we ensure that taxpayer dollars are being spent wisely. Also, because we have received a steady drumbeat of complaints of civil rights abuses, of lack of access to medical care, mental health care.
So this member of Congress is admitting for a while now there have been a lot of complaints about this facility, yet she still showed up unannounced and was turned away, instead of just putting in her prior notice and making sure everyone is safe and good to go. Again, this is why we want oversight. This is the job of our members of Congress. But if you're not doing the right thing, all of these complaints don't mean anything. Also, we are seeing a pattern of misconduct. When have we ever seen so many members of Congress doing these oversight visits the way that we're seeing it done today? It was never done like this. It's being taken advantage of. Again, we want oversight visit, but when members of Congress are doing these oversight visits in order to try and make a facility look bad, that is not the purpose of an oversight visit. The purpose of an oversight visit is to make sure a facility, they are following the standards, and if they're not, they can correct it. But instead, it's being turned into, you see, this facility is destructive, it's bad, we need to shut it down, and this is why I did the visit. It's turning into a political stunt, and more voters, we are starting to see this. Again, our taxpayer money goes to this. We want proper oversight. Oversight is a good thing, but not when it turns into a political stunt and the story turns into how you did such a great thing and not how we are making sure our facilities are actually taken care of.
Moshannon Valley Processing Center in Phillipsburg still sparking controversy. Earlier this week, hundreds of protesters gathered at the ICE facility calling for its closure, what came after a Chinese immigrant in a critics calling on the Clearfield County Commissioners to end their contract with ICE. Well, today, Congressman Glenn Thompson defended the private company that operates the lockup.
So it's very rare we actually get members of Congress almost counter-protest against other members of Congress in this specific situation. As we know, Republicans and conservatives, they don't really say, yeah, we like ICE facilities, because it's sort of implied. However, in this case, we actually have one member of Congress who's saying, no, this facility has been doing a fine job. So let's go ahead and look into this.
GEO is a great organization. You know, I have visited that facility in the past. It's been a number of years ago. You know, but they were accommodating probably over 100 different languages. They were providing, you know, helping to meet people's religious needs, intellectual needs, health needs, all while folks were being staged to prepare for deportation.
Okay, one thing I want to point out, I'm not about to sit here and say every single government facility is great because it's this or that. When it comes to Homeland Security detention centers, though, this is a very complex facility. We're talking about illegal immigrants who come from all over the world. So from all of these parts of the world, whether it's Africa, Southeast Asia, whether it's from Mexico, South America. So these facilities have to really try and figure out how are they going to accommodate every single person from every single part of the world. Whether it's religious needs, some people can't eat bacon, and things like that. Some people have to fast, some people are not. You understand what I'm saying. So when you are conducting these oversights, without a doubt, you're probably going to catch at least one thing that's wrong, but as you'll see in the next clip, people are calling for this facility to just shut down. When again, the point of these oversight visits is you catch something wrong, but you fix it. But that's not what's happening here. These oversight visits are turning into, I caught you, shut down, everything bad. Now again, the accusation from Homeland Security is a lot of these members of Congress, whenever they do these unannounced oversight visits, despite the new policy change, they get a ton of media coverage. And that's exactly what has happened once again with this member of Congress.
New questions are being raised about the Moshannon Valley Ice Processing Center after a U.S. Congresswoman was denied entry. This comes less than a month since a detainee died at the facility. Our Jordan Mansberger attended a virtual press conference.
And by the way, I want to mention, again, it is a good thing to do oversight. I keep reiterating this because even conservatives and Republicans agree with this, to include Tom Homan, Kristi Noem, and if we have people where the conditions are not good, we should want oversight. But the point I also keep trying to make in this video, if this has been such an issue for a while now with all of these complaints, why is a member of Congress who has the ability to finally fix something showing up unannounced when the new policy is you can't do that? Now, no oversight was actually conducted.
The representative joins us now. So Jordan, what can you tell us?
Democratic Congresswoman Summer Lee attempted to make an oversight visit at the largest immigration detention center in the Northeast, but was denied entry and asked to leave. She was joined by Yannick Gill, who is the senior counsel for the organization Human Rights First. During the press conference, both spoke on what they say is the fundamental importance of congressional oversight as deportations continue. They echoed what protesters, some from as far away as Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, said yesterday. Many claim that there are poor conditions inside relating to food and the mistreatment of detainees.
And by the way, these are other lawmakers. I will probably have to make a separate video on this case. Again, this is a legit raw reaction. I really tried to give you guys the most organic reactions and the realist responses. So again, I don't even know what's about to be said here, but because I've done this so many times, it's really the same exact pattern. Well, we showed up unannounced, we were denied. This is why we need to shut down this facility.
Lee said that all members of Congress have the right to make stops at ICE processing centers and did not notify the facility beforehand in an attempt.
And like we talked about before, they have to notify the facility. Even before this new policy change, you have to notify a facility if you're going to bring a bunch of cameras with you, if you're going to bring staff members, and oftentimes staff members are there to chart things down and to make sure everything, is held accountable within the facility as well. So it's not only just one member of Congress showing up unannounced. That does happen, but these guys have staff members and they're there to work as a team, which is not a bad thing.
To see what it's really
but you have to show up announced.
Like inside.
We don't want the curated tour. We want to see the conditions that folks live in. We want to see the processes involved without them being or having the opportunity to sanitize the place.
Conducting this oversight was more than...
So in my personal opinion, I do think this is such a negative way of trying to do business. We want to see you at your absolute worst, so then when we get a report, we don't actually have the accurate report. Again, as somebody who has served in the U.S. military, U.S. Army, 101st Airborne, combat engineer, ask anyone in the U.S. military, if you are in charge of inspections, is it better to do it unannounced, or is it better to give time to try and give the unit a chance to actually show yourself at the best? What ends up happening, even in the U.S. military, whenever you want to try and get somebody unannounced, that is always intended to get people in trouble, but to really kick people in the butt. So the next time we do this unannounced, or really that another inspection is coming, it's to make you better. But again, we keep seeing this attitude of, we want to see you at your worst, we want to see how things really are. But again, for anybody who's ever lived in an environment where you get inspected all the time, unannounced visits are not always the answer. It could actually backfire.
Just trying to figure out what happened to Mr. G, but it was ensuring that the conditions that have been reported out of Moshannon since its inception could be stopped to prevent further deaths.
Both Lee and Gill say that they will continue to search and press for answers.
That's great. We want them to. That is literally what they're being paid for. You just have to show up unannounced, because now more time was just spent on my YouTube channel and more time was spent on this camera to make sure that you were able to get this interview and talk about the facility, but not actually take the time to put in that 72-hour notice. Every single other American in the world has to follow protocols, especially with something so serious. I almost find it so shocking that a lot of these members of Congress, they keep doing this as if we're not starting to notice this is becoming a problem. Again, this has almost become a Democrat-Republicans uniting together to make sure that lawmakers are doing the oversight. Republicans and conservatives want oversight. That is coming straight from the top from Kristi Noem. We just want you guys to do it with the proper notice so we can make sure everyone is safe and you will get the proper facility tour. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to leave your comments down below how you feel about this story. If you haven't already, make sure to please subscribe to my channel. Make sure to like the video. Go sign up for the newsletter. You can also use the QR code. Everything is absolutely free and you get daily updates on stories just like this. In fact, sometimes on the newsletter, you get the story before the actual video. So thank you for everything. God bless, and we'll see you all later.